Tell her we said happy birthday.
Yeah, we'll
They'll
sing it.
say happy birthday.
Happy birthday
Day
to
to
you.
ya.
Happy birthday.
to ya.
There you go.
Happy birthday.
Hello, Chris here with another episode of the Make It podcast. And joining me and my wonderful co-founder, Nicholas Buggs, is our esteemed guest, David Birdsall, aka otherwise known as D-Bird. D-Bird, say what's up, man.
What's up, everybody? Thanks for having me. Appreciate you.
It is our distinct pleasure to have you on the podcast. And Nick, welcome as well.
Well, thank you, sir. And you said Nick and Nick Buggs, but you didn't give me any AKAs. You know, I've been known as, Chocolate Thunder.
Black chocolate.
Black chocolate,
the chocolate stud. One half of the chocolate studs.
Half of the chocolate studs. Once upon a dream, when I was doing my remixes and stuff, people would call me Nico Beats. Or maybe people didn't call me that. Maybe I called myself that. And then, some of my mixed tracks, I had that this is an NKB production. You know what I'm saying? So,
Bring
see, you got it.
We are in the in the age of you can say anything. If you say that people called you Nico Beats and they just called you Nico Beats, nobody gives a shit anymore. We don't know what's real.
I was gonna say you have a hell of a lineup for nicknames, my friend. I need to step my game up. This is my first initial, last half. Like that's,
right? Like, come on, man. Yeah, you gotta add a couple, and just depending on which room you're in, then you can use that one. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, so, real talk, man. I don't any headline I read. Producer Papa Bear sends me headlines all day long, every day. Every headline I read, I check 3 sources first because I don't know anymore. I have no idea what's real, what's not, what's going on. Like, is this sort of partisan doo-doo? Is this meant to attack one side? Is it a half truth? Is it a whole truth? And half truths really are the most pervasive of all the lies because the part that's true makes it harder to find the part that's not true, basically.
Yeah, but listen, man.
So
every name I just gave you
is true that you're Nico Beats?
Every name I just gave you.
Have you dropped a beat?
You know what I'm saying? Right. It's been a minute. It's been a minute. The
remix gonna be like, pull out the SoundCloud. Let's hear it.
Bro, exactly.
I got receipts behind me.
Yeah, right. Yeah, but it's been a minute, I will tell you, because it's like I know
I do like that nickname though.
Yeah, but I know D-Bird, he's got some of those that Napster history. And I remember there was this one thing, I can't remember, Chris, you probably remember what it was, like before Napster. Now there was this little red thing. I can't remember what it was, red and black. And I remember like you could download like 5 things at a time. And you'd be watching that little red bar go across. But the beauty of it is you could always get the instrumental and you could get the vocals separately.
Yeah.
You weren't stripping stuff apart.
That's like that Kanye thing now.
Yeah, but you used to be able to get that stuff all the time and like make your own mixes. And I miss those days, man.
What's the name of that device that Kanye's selling on his website for $200? And you can separate the lyric from the beat and it's on one device. Nick, they had that technology a long time ago. It's put into hardware, right?
That's what I'm saying. They used to have it. But what I'm saying is I used to love being able to just grab. I didn't have to do any of that, right? I would just grab those tracks and I was remixing all sorts of stuff, man. Especially, when I was in my, basically that Eminem phase when it's just like, dude, if you can find some of Eminem's like unreleased stuff.
Yeah.
Ooh, that stuff was sick, man. I was like, yo, you put that on top of a different beat and it was just like, it was over. I
used to do that with the Mortal Technique.
There you go.
Yeah. So try to find some rare IT stuff and then play with it. Look, when I was in college, our music professor taught DJing. He's like, we're at a place now where we need to teach it. It's an instrument. He said, scientists have come in and validated this. You do as many hand movements, scratching and cutting and mixing as you would if you were playing violin. So it's real.
I went to a state school in a cornfield, so we didn't have DJ school, and I'm so jealous.
Well, they were teaching all kinds of stuff. They were teaching Public Enemy. They were teaching Eminem. They were teaching Tupac. This is before Michael Eric Dyson. That's his name, right? Michael Eric Dyson. He's such a wordsmith himself. I think he teaches at Vanderbilt University now. That's before he invented the Tupac course, where you could take an entire semester of Tupac or an entire year of Tupac. So, I mean, hip hop's come a long, long way in a relative short period of time. So, before we get into that, I do want the audience to sort of contextualize why we're talking to you. So if you don't mind, can you just tell us your name, title, what we might know you for, what you're working on now? And you can even explain where you're sitting and where you're at right now. So for the people watching.
Sure. Well, not sitting on a toilet. I am in a I'm in a hotel currently. It is my girlfriend's birthday, and she is patiently waiting and listening with bated breath to learn more about the person she's dating. But also a little bit about me. So my name's David. Go by D Bird for all my rappings. I'm a co-founder of White Collar Rhymes, which is a almost 2,000 person strong Discord community where we basically formed organically from a bunch of old forum heads, underground hip hop artists that have just been making music for the last 20 years. And we kind of came together for the purposes of a online rap tournament for $500. Once it was done, we're like, well, we should probably still do this, right? And then before you know it, it just kept on growing and growing from there as more people joined, more collaborations happened. So now it's kind of burgeoned into this full community with like podcasts, regular contests, people kind of finding people to work with. So that's kind of one of the big core things that I do. And then from that stemmed kind of a question of, all right, so we've got these people from all around the world, literally globally, that are a part of this community. And some of us have been there from the very beginning. What if we, instead of just making online collaborations, met up in the same location and tried to make an album about it? And I booked a mansion off Airbnb. I had everybody fly down to this, giant sprawling estate in Austin, Texas. And we filmed what would happen if you just take a chance, pause your real life, and make music with your internet friends. So that's the project coming out soon, last mixtape.
That's an amazing concept, and I love it. And it's a concept perfectly designed for the world of the internet. It's perfectly designed for the times. The fact that these people rolled off the Discord and met you in real life, the risk you took in that, making sure is everybody legit? Is everybody going to be cool? And then you do it in a mansion. Airbnb, shout out to Airbnb, by the way, and their founders, Brian Chesky, I forget the other guy's name, but they're just smart. They're always innovating. And Airbnb, I don't think a lot of people know this, but they have these experiences and experience houses you can book. So you can like book a Barbie house. You can book a house where a movie star meets you.
Or there's a Harry Potter house.
Yeah, there's a Harry Potter house. So it's really cool. And I want this movie to come out first because you had the idea. Because trust, there are a lot of versions of this. And I don't know what we're going to see in the future, but it's coming. Because now you don't have to do what Lil Dicky did, which is like knock on every door in a neighborhood until you found a rich guy that said, yes, you can shoot my video in your house. You can just go book that Airbnb and have it for the weekend and just be ready to go. So I'm super pumped about this. I'm
just trying to figure out how many people, in the house. Like, did you ever wake up in the morning and like one of them just standing over you looking at you? And then you woke up, you're like, what are you doing, bro? He's like, I just wanted to watch you sleep. You know what I'm saying? Like,
you know what's wild is, so I booked it and I was like, man, this place is huge. Yeah. Turns out, yeah, it's huge, but there weren't enough beds for everybody. Luckily, we have a bunch of insomniac art types
Yeah.
that just stayed up all night making music anyways. So like
They
no one
probably
was
just
sleeping.
fell asleep where they were if they were gonna
Yeah.
sleep, right?
Head on the keyboard.
Nobody
Yeah.
wants to be the first person to fall asleep in a room full of artistic strangers.
No,
Yeah.
no. You don't want that tattoo, bro.
No, exactly. That's what I'm saying. Who's going to be the first person falling asleep in that house? Well, it reminds me of coming up. I had sort of I lived in my mom and dad's house, but I had the whole upstairs to myself because I was the youngest child, the last one left. And we just basically had an artistic flop house, and people would come in and record because I had recording equipment, and people would come in and record all hours of the night, and I'd be up all night, and I was the only one that could play an instrument. So they were like depending on me to drop the beat, like to play something that
Like, you're not falling asleep. We're not done.
right. I could. So yeah, exactly. I could never fall asleep because I was essentially the only way they could sort of get their ideas out. And those times were really, really dope. Those were just awesome sort of moments. There were times where I felt like I didn't have, if I didn't feel personally like I had enough agency, the fact that I was controlling the music gave me that agency. You know what I mean? So now it's like, no, I'm running this thing because you can't even like you about to drop these rhymes without a beat, really? Okay, so it was a great situation and too much fun, and I have all those tapes somewhere, and on big reel-to-reel tapes, actually, believe it or not, we had a big reel-to-reel setup. I'd actually recorded them down a cassette tape, and I had them in a giant box of cassette tapes that I owned because I still owned all these cassettes back before it transitioned to disc. And then we were having a garage sale one day, and I came back. I'm like, "Where's my box of tapes?" And my wife was like, "Oh, I thought you wanted to sell those." I said, No. Those were sitting there, but those weren't for sale. That was my personal life. You just sold my life for $5.
Oh no!
You just sold my entire artistic life up to this point. And I never could find the guy. So if this audience has gotten bigger, hey guy out there that owns all my cassette tapes, you can have every cassette tape in there except for the ones that are written on. Just bring those back. You're not going to use them. Those aren't real songs.
That's
my
crazy.
life.
So you grew up in a small town, like you said, cornfields and stuff. So
Cornfield,
yeah.
University.
What were you recording on when you first started? Like, how did you do your stuff? Like, how did you do your thing?
Man, my dad, he was always like the computer savvy of like all the relatives, and he had like this Logitech headset. That was my first. It was like a USB headset, like full on, customer service style.
Oh, really? Okay, so it's like the mic is coming around to your mouth.
Yeah.
Okay.
And like, so that was the first iteration of me ever trying to put recorded rhymes onto a computer. I think I had like some cracked version of Cool Edit Pro that was floating around the internet at the point.
Holy
moly. Peter Quistgaard. Still remember that guy. What a legend.
That's awesome.
Shout out to Peter Quistgaard.
Yeah, that name and his password, just like, I think he did it on purpose because the entire internet allegedly used his stuff. And so that was the first iteration. That and Audacity, some free DAW.
Was it always rhymes, or was it singing at first, or what? Like, what was it always rhyming?
Honestly, I backed into singing. I started rhyming first, and then like later, like late, I was like, oh, maybe I should add some melodies, So yeah, it started out with rhymes for sure.
Got it. Like, Chris, he's over here like, look, man, I had this Logitech headset and it's so old and whatever. And like Chris and I is over here talking about reel to reel. When I had mine, it was a cassette tape.
I was gonna say you're gonna say yours because I remember yours.
That cassette deck, bro. You gotta push.
I remember your dorm room setup.
Yep, you gotta push those two buttons at the same time. Play and record. Right? You push it, you record, and then if you want to like remix it, you stack it. But you take the one tape and you put it in the other tape deck and you hit play while you record on this one, and you just keep doing it. The quality just gets degraded like crazy.
Worse and worse.
But you did whatever you had to do to make it work. I mean, I used to play the saxophone. So when I did like, harmonies on the saxophone, that's exactly how I did it. I would literally be swapping tapes to get it to work. And it's just literally you do whatever you can do. And that's how you know you love it, man. It's like, whatever you have available, you're going to make it work because it has to come out. Like, this is your art and it has to find a voice somewhere.
Well, you keep using the word "make it work" or the phrase "make it work," and that's exactly what you use those stackings for, right? Like, we know as artists that if a song is working, everybody's going to like it, no matter what the sonic quality is. Now, are they going to wish the sonic quality was better? Of course, but don't forget, Mary J. Blige got signed off just a tape she sang into a rough microphone. Like, the talent sort of comes through. And so I used to use the stacking just to see if a song was going to work, because you didn't know if the arrangement worked until you could hear it back yourself. And so, is that work? Is that actually good? Like, is there a problem here with the timing? A lot of it on paper works right away, but the song, just like in the movies, the song you write is different than the song you record, is different than the song you edit. And so you just were trying to figure out, are my friends going to play this in their car? Because I don't know. You gotta find that out by stacking. So I am curious though. Coming back to the film, why a film? Why did you decide you wanted to get into the movie business to the degree that you're in it now with the movie after all this time rhyming and building this community?
I mean,
like, why not an album? Maybe, I don't know.
I mean, we've got plenty of music and plenty of albums through White Collar Rhymes that we've done. Honestly, it was kind of random. How it came about was I realized that this was a special opportunity. Like, this is something kind of weird, and especially after where we're all just so locked up in the same room, going crazy, no interpersonal connections, no person-to-person contact. I felt like this was something really that hasn't been done before. When you take a bunch of people from the internet who have all kind of known each other for 20 years, but never met each other in person, and you take 9 people from all different walks of life, all different backgrounds, shove them in a house for a week and a half and say, make an album. Like, that's kind of crazy. And I just kind of knew that had to be documented. It was never going to, I didn't go into it being like, I want to be in the music industry or the film industry. I didn't go in being like, I care or want to be a filmmaker. I just said, this is weird and it needs to be documented. I want other people to see this so they can relate to it.
But was there anything weird, or not weird, but anything unexpected that you found out about film sort of in the filming of this?
Everything. I am not a filmmaker. I did have one buddy of mine that went to college who he was actually a producer on this film. So he is in the film industry. He lives in LA. He kind of used his connections to bring in kind of the actual people to film. They were all his friends, all of the crew. So I leaned on him for a lot of the day-to-day technical stuff. But what I didn't realize was so much. A couple of the lessons we learned is just because you get these fancy cameras doesn't mean that it's just point and click, right?
Yeah.
So,
point and shoot. Yeah.
We had these very, very technical cameras because we got an insane deal on the camera gear that, frankly,
how'd you do that?
So again, through my college buddy, he had a connection to somebody who kind of had the gear for rent, and he gave us a smoking deal for being alumni of said Cornfield College.
Nice.
So that's the indie. That's the indie sort of thing there, right? Like the indie way to film. Like, you're using everything you got all the time.
Yeah.
Anyway, go ahead. I just wanted to know that.
I'm talking like 80% discounts, like insane. So the cameras we got, we had no business shooting on. And the audio that came through, most of those, like the fanciest cameras, the boom mic you had to do an extra thing to turn it on. So what ended up becoming the film was just whatever was usable, which is about like
Oh, wow.
1/10 of what was shot during that time. So there's a lot of behind the scenes lessons that, like, just from the technical shooting aspects to like the lighting, just everything matters. And we were just kind of running around with, these Porsches and laser guns. Like, I don't know how to do any of this. We're like using alien technology, and somehow we still made it work.
Yeah,
I'm
one of
so
the
glad you
coolest
have a movie
things
out of that. Nick, that's crazy,
yeah.
right?
Yeah. But one of the coolest things I was going to say about the doc, really for me, because Chris knows I'm a huge people person. Like it all comes down to the humans in the room, right? And the connection and the joy, the magic that it's made when you bring people together for like a cause, any cause. And like I just wanted you to kind of talk about, like, did you feel that magic when you brought these people together? Because I think that translates, whether it's film or music or any other art. Chris and I talk about this all the time because there's a saying around that, right? It's like you bring God into the room, right? When that happens, it's just this idea of the universe and the connections between us are far greater than we could ever create on our own. So even though you're learning all these lessons about cameras and lighting and, the technology, outside of that, what was it like to have all these people, the energy in the room?
It was insane. Like you could feel it in the rooms. We actually retrofitted both the movie studio into a music studio, as well as one of the large bedrooms into a studio. Chaotica sponsored, so we had the Chaotica eyeballs over the mics to basically dampen all of the sound in the room. So we were able to use these giant rooms and kind of retrofit them into music studios, and you would just walk in the room, somebody be like doing a demo, doing a take, reciting a hook, you'd hear a beat, and then you just immediately sit down and start writing. Like, it's unlike anything I've ever experienced.
Yeah.
And none of us are full-time musicians outside of the audio engineer that came to record us. And even he said, every single person that went to that said, this is most insane music experience I've had in my life. And I walked away just so inspired. You couldn't not be inspired in that house.
That's so cool, man. That's that energy. That's that creative energy. That's that creative community that, like I said, it doesn't matter what art form you're doing. It only happens when you bring people together. Now, the second thing I wanted to mention is just something that just made me laugh. And I don't know if this is like just a generational thing, but when someone, this is from the film, so y'all gotta watch it, right? But when somebody says, "Hey, what's your job?" and the guy's like, "I'm a bricklayer," and the next person says, "Oh, you mean like Minecraft, bro?"
Yeah.
Like, I'm sorry, I was just dying. Like, I could not stop. I was laughing. I was like, "No way!" Generational stuff, man. It's like, what?
I love it. Like,
So
Minecraft was a great line.
It was. So I'm just saying, like, that's the type of, I don't know, it's just fun. That was, I'll give that to you as well. I think that, for when it comes out, the idea is just that it's community, it's something new, but there's fun, there's joy in it. And I think that's the other thing that I hope that, people take away from it.
One of the things that I really thought was important, and another reason why I did this documentary, was, it's one thing to kind of meet up with your internet friends and make music and kind of have that community and collaboration. That was amazing. I've never experienced anything like it. But on top of that, just normalizing regular people making music. Like you said, like one of the most talented artists we have in the Discord works every single day as a bricklayer. He gets up super early, calloused hands, messed up hat.
Yeah.
And like, you'd never know. Like, he doesn't share that. You can't really share with your coworkers, like, I'm a rapper. Like, how stupid that sounds?
Yeah.
So there's a bunch of secret people with insane talents hidden amongst us everywhere.
Yeah, it's an interesting job to have when you're supposed to be sort of writing bars or rhyming bars, and you actually just like kind of dropping bars as your job every day anyway. I don't know if everybody that came is from the Northwest. Northwest hip hop is distinctly different than other regions of hip hop. Can you just explain to the audience in your words and in your opinion, what those differences are.
Yeah, so I'd say Northwest hip hop. I I'd say it's kind of introspective, like here's my feelings kind of hip hop. I
Like,
mean, you've
yeah,
got all,
Greaves.
yeah, like you got the Greaves, you got the Macklemore, like it.
Yeah.
There's a lot of Seattle artists. I could go on forever of Seattle and Portland artists that are heavily my influence. But if you're talking about like Pacific Northwest hip hop, I think it kind of steers towards feelings hip hop. Whereas, we actually did have a lot of people from all different parts. So we had an artist from Texas, we had an artist from Georgia, one from South Carolina. We had people from all over. So you did get that crazy mix of influences. And I would say that I've actually learned a lot. One of my co-founders, Paradise, from Texas,
Yeah.
he's kind of the exact opposite of me musically. Like I'm like lyrical, like here's my feelings. I need to connect with you on my words. And he's like, nah. That. Like I just want you to feel the less words, the better. I want you to connect with my feeling. I want to
The
make
emotion.
you feel things, the emotion. So
Yeah.
it was fun to see all of these different styles blend together. And each one of them is so unique based on their upbringing, both regionally and their influences.
There's a ton of female hip hop artists in the Northwest too that, like, I've been just checking out recently. I love Snow the Product. I love Win. I think it's Winnie, but maybe you pronounce it Win.
Yeah,
like,
Winnie.
She's like a good blend of conscious and mainstream, I think. I saw that you did a little something with Blimes, and she's dope. I listened to your track, Brass Knuckles. I love that whole track. Like that's like a classic hip hop Northwest track with a bunch of different artists, no chorus really, just like verse after verse after verse. I love that. So everybody should check that out. I know, can you just, before we move into polls, I just want to know what impact Atmosphere and Idea had on you, and why those two artists in particular sort of inspired you to rhyme and then kind of led to what you're doing today.
Yeah. I mean, being a white rapper, everyone says you're Eminem. That's just what it is, right? They're like, you're Eminem. And
20 years ago it was Vanilla Ice, right?
yeah, like there was,
Maybe
those are the
30 years
two.
ago. Yeah.
Those are the two. Once Vanilla Ice kind of faded into obscurity doing renovations or whatever.
Right. Yeah.
Then it became your Eminem because that's all people had kind of knowledge of in the mainstream.
Yeah.
Napster kind of accidentally introduced me to some of the other artists of the time, Atmosphere, Idea, Sage Francis, that kind of showed me that there is a different way to do hip hop that's not in the mainstream, right?
Mm-hmm.
I feel like they heavily influenced me in terms of I was already making like depressing, here is my life as a 16-year-old teenager in cornfield, USA, and it's like they showed me how to do it in not such a cringy on the nose type of way.
Yeah.
Because I knew I wasn't going to be the crazy, like, I'm going to kill my mom type rapper. And this was finally an outlet for me where I could use rhymes to express my emotions. And then it took some time, but eventually learning how to do it, like my influences, in the way that, wow, I'm not cringing as I press play to show other people.
Man, I'm cringing.
Nice.
Anything that you read of mine that was from age 14 to 18, bad. So
Me too.
so emotional, so over the top, so fatalistic. But I think that's just the age, and it's so cool that you were able to sort of channel that into music versus just on the page, or worst case scenario, have to keep that inside. I used to say for years, I never had to go to therapy because I had a piano that I could play. And that piano was huge for me because the piano is a dynamic instrument. So I can play it the same chords hard or soft, and they give you a completely different feeling. And so I could express how I felt that day by how I would play and what chords I would play on the piano. So shout out to my mom and and I guess and my dad for forcing me to go to piano when I was 16 after my dreams of being an NFL football player were starting to diminish.
Yeah, well, I'm sorry to hear that your guys' stuff between 14 and 18 wasn't that great, because mine was phenomenal.
Yeah.
Braggy. All right. Cool. Rub it in.
And Nick wasn't sad either.
Everybody said, everybody, dude, nah, whatever. Teenage years, man. Everybody goes through that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just telling my wife, I was like, yeah. So I had, like you said, you had the piano, I had my sax, and I had my pen, right? Because I used to write poetry, write songs, whatever.
Yeah.
But I also had a soccer ball. And I told her the other day, I was like, man, I used to tear up my neighbor's fence with that ball when I was pissed. I was so jacked up, man. Like, I literally would blow holes in that fence with that soccer ball. And I'm like, that's just jacked up, man. Like, I know they're not there anymore, but I should have gone and been like, I should have paid for a new fence. It was just jacked up. All of us go through some stuff.
All of us go
in
through
our
some
teenage
stuff.
years.
Except for that one song you wrote about that girl's hair and sneakers. It's like that kind of rhymes you wrote where you're so happy. I'm
just saying,
anyway,
sometimes you got to do that.
Let's get it. Let's get into some polls. And look, today subbing in for the incredible intern Sam is our very own Nicholas Bugs, and he's going to drop us some polls. So if you don't mind, can you lay out your polls for us?
Oh, I will lay out this first poll.
Okay.
All right. So for this for intern Sam. All right.
Yeah.
Which rapper is the best at acting? Now, here's the deal with the polls, right? It's a poll, so you got to provide the names. So these are the names that intern Sam provided to our audience. All right.
Now these just to let the audience know, and to also let D know, these polls have been published to YouTube.
Right. So they're out there. There's been some
there.
voting, right? All right.
Yes.
So the first one, we've got, again, which rapper is the best at acting? We've got Drake, we've got Snoop, we got Ice Cube, and we've got Ludacris. So let's throw it out before I give the answer. D Bird, like, what you got?
Man, I know my answer instantly. I hope it's everyone else's answer too.
Okay.
Ice Cube. For sure.
Oh,
Friday.
Cube.
Friday used to be like my favorite movie of all time. Like back in the AOL chat room days, people were like, "Oh, what's your favorite movie?" I was like, "Friday."
Friday.
So, Ice Cube's my answer.
Very good. Chris, what you got, man?
So I'm not going to front. I'm not going to lie about this. I really thought about Ice Cube for a long time. Friday. So Ice Cube has, to me, arguably the best movie where he's acting. But if you talk about the art of acting, being a thespian, I have to give it to Ludacris, because Luda can be not Luda. Where when Ice Cube's in a movie, he's just Ice Cube, but a barber this time. Or Ice Cube, but he's chilling. Or Ice Cube, but he's somebody's daddy. Or, like he's just always Ice Cube. And that's look, some people say that's the best actor, where it's just you in a new context, and so we can't tell you're acting. But I've seen Luda be a lot of different things, and he doesn't just have to be a rapper. So I'm gonna go with Luda.
So coming in at number 2 at 23% is Ice Cube, and coming in at number 1 at 63%, Luda.
Whoa. All right. I did not know the results of this. Yeah. So
well, it ain't a right or wrong answer.
Yeah,
right.
It's not right or wrong. That is true. It's just a poll.
It's just a poll that I laid out for you.
That's
when
what
you
she
put
said.
it that way, like you think of him doing Fear Factor. Like he had to act being the host too. Like,
Yep.
That's range.
Yeah. Well, let's just take it away from the movies. Okay. Take it to the music videos. Who was a better actor in the music videos? And I'd have to give it to Luda on that stuff, man.
I
just
would
because
too.
the persona, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Stomp.
But Today Was a Good Day is a great video. All time.
It is.
I literally can turn on that video and have a good day.
Yeah, well, there's a time in your life too, right? That song hits from a certain time in your life, and all the feels come back.
Yeah, I grew up in the kind of neighborhood that Ice Cube was describing in that video, and it was like I was doing the stuff that he was describing in the video,
Right? Exactly.
Because I could mess around and get a triple double. Like it was just like something like I could just mess around. I could just mess around and get it. You know, that's what I love about that line. Nobody messes around and gets a triple double. You don't like fall ass backwards into a triple double. But he did that day.
Right.
And it makes you feel good. Okay. Give us another. Right. Give us the next one, Nick. This was great.
The next one. All right. So between the big three, which rapper would make for the best film? Now, are we talking J. Cole? Are we talking Drake? Or are we talking Kendrick Lamar? So which of the big three would make for the best film?
So this is a biopic is what you mean?
Their life story?
We go biopic on that one.
Mm-hmm. And Kanye's out of that, right?
Yeah, it's a different one.
Okay.
We're just talking about the quote-unquote
big three. The quote-unquote big three.
Yeah.
All right, what do you got,
The big three is just the big me.
Yep.
That's right.
Allegedly.
That's right. Right.
Not taking sides here. Honestly, who would I want to watch a movie of the most? I'd say Kendrick. I think for me, that's my answer. I think it's just more interesting. Has nothing to do with their music. The story, I think, and especially looking at the discography, the growth, like there's so many phases of Kendrick. I'm going to say him.
You're taking it where I think that's a great take, actually. That's my take. My take is if I knew the biopic, Nick, was about music, I would pick Kendrick all day long. If I thought the biopic was about their life, I'd pick Drake. And so because the question was about, I guess, their life story, I'm going to go with Drake.
Okay. Very good.
But with the caveat of if it were just about the music, it'd be Kendrick hands down. Yeah.
All right. And coming in at a significant, I don't even need to talk about the other two, significant 78%. It goes to one, Kendrick Lamar.
Ding, ding, ding. Bloop, bloop, bloop.
Yep. 78%. Everybody's
I get
like
3 bloops? Man, right, I won 3 bloops for that? All
3
right.
bloops and 2 dings.
That's right. That's right.
Did I do 2 dings or 3 dings? I don't even know.
No,
but yeah, it was a good day.
Yeah,
but look, but let's be real. Let's talk about it. Now, D-Bird qualified it, right? Is that fair? Can I say it? You qualified your answer by saying it has nothing to do with their current rap beef. But how many of that 78% can we say that for? Honestly, like they are influenced.
Oh, of course. I think we all are. I mean, even if D says he's not. I mean, we all are. You can't not be influenced by it, right? But I think that there is something different about because I look at Kendrick Lamar like that evolution. There's an evolution of a poet happening here. So like, whose life do you want to look at? And then if you're depending on how you see hip hop, rap, like pop, what do you identify with more? Yeah. And I think that the audience, I don't know. I'm just positing here that the audience probably sees themselves more in Kendrick Lamar. Like he seems like a guy who goes home to potentially like a regular house and does regular things. He's
J. Cole actually seems like that more than anybody.
Well, yeah. I mean, there's videos on Instagram of J. Cole riding a bike in New York. You know what I'm saying? Like he's riding around. So, but what I'm saying is like, that's that type of vibe. So not only does this rap battle, like I think most people think he came out on top, but he's real. He's a real guy. Right. And I think that is why they want to see them. We talked about this. You want to see yourself in the art that you listen to, watch, consume, or whatever.
In a character.
I think we
want to see ourselves in a character.
I think that's what it is for me. But go ahead,
now, I was just going to say, so biopic, Kendrick's my choice. Now, a documentary on a day in the life of, that's Drake for me.
That's Drake.
You know what I mean? Like, I want to see the documentary from, of the last 2 years. This man is flying off to Milan, blowing $100,000 on a strip club and a chain, and then the next day he's at a music video shoot, and then boom, oh no, I think I should do a diss track. You know what I mean? Like to see the progression. Oh, I'd watch that in a heartbeat.
And
also, I didn't know
the
that he did
sadness
it
is
for
baked
Skins.
in. You know what I mean? The heartbreak is baked in.
Yeah.
So when you're watching it, you just know you're seeing duality. You're seeing this life that everybody wants, and then you're seeing the absolute sort of sadness of it. The constraints of that level of fame, the constraints of that large of an entourage, the constraints of all of what he's built on his ability to find real people and someone who reflects back to him their authentic self all the time, right? And the paranoia that creates and all those things. That's what would make that doc or biopic, so deeply interesting.
I think it would just be a bunch of characters. That's what I think it would be.
Yeah.
It would be a bunch of characters. What I feel like Kendrick Lamar's day in the life is like, that's just a bunch of real people. Like, why we want to watch these real people do stuff? We want drama.
He's like playing Madden. You're like, all right. Boring.
Exactly. Like, what are we watching here?
Well, I'll say this about the beef too, and I haven't shared this opinion yet because I haven't really had the opportunity, the context to do it. And I do want to hear what your sort of opinion on the state of hip hop is. You got that history, you've been in it a long time, but I was saying this to one of my homies that the truth in a diss track really, really matters. I've been a hip hop fan since hip hop really started, and I sort of am a diss track purist where it's like, no. He might have had the slicker rhyme, but this person is telling the truth. And so I thought with Drake's rhymes, he was saying things that were true about Kendrick that were verifiable, like domestic abuse. And Kendrick was just saying things that the internet would react to. I mean, let's be real. He had one song that had one line that got everybody crazy, and it's probably A minor, right? Like, that's not true. It's just something he said that was dope. Whereas if you look at Bomb First or Hit 'Em Up, Pac, for the most part, was saying stuff that was true. When you look at Jay-Z, we look at Nas as having won that battle with Jay-Z. But Jay-Z's stuff has stood the test of time because everything he was saying was true about Nas. And Nas was just calling him names, Camel and all this shit. So to me, sometimes we say, oh, the person that won or the rapper, the artist that won is the one that made us enjoy it more. Versus me, I say the rapper or the artist that won is the artist that was saying the truth more. This, in case in point, would be Pusha. How when he won his rap battle with Drake is because he said something that was so true, it revealed a secret about him that he was trying to hide from the world. And so Pusha's kind of beat Drake in a rap battle twice now, because Exodus, I think it was Exodus 23, whatever it's called, was crazy dope. And then the latest one where he outed his son. So to me, I don't know what you guys think about that. Because to me, Drake won because Drake was telling the truth.
I'm gonna let D.
And Kendrick was just making stuff up.
I think Kendrick was saying some truth too. I don't
but
know.
It's not verifiable.
Well, I don't.
Whereas Drake's is verifiable.
It's not
Drake's,
maybe not verifiable to me. And
so that matters right now. If it ends up true, Nick, then I'll change.
I'm not. Yeah, I don't want you to change your opinion. All I'm saying is,
I will.
From my perspective,
I will.
I'm just saying I think a lot of people believe that what Kendrick said is true. So it's not just
why do they believe it?
Some stuff.
That's what I want.
I'm not worried about it. I just think that when
I'm not worried about it. I'm saying why. Well, maybe I do worry about it because
exactly.
The topic of the conversation is you can just say anything.
You can just say stuff, right?
I'm against that. You're not.
So what I'm saying is, I think that. Well, I didn't say that either. So
you're kind of saying
I'm not kind of saying it. So what I'm saying is that there are some people who believe that what he's saying is true. So they're taking it as
Are
true.
You one of them? I don't care about other people. Or do you think it? I want to know what you say. I want to know.
I'm just saying.
Do you think it's true?
I'm trying to get back to D-Burp. So anyway,
okay.
My point
I want to hear what
is
D-Burp
that I think that that's what's happening is that people are believing and they're taking it as true. And then in addition to that, he did drop some things that were like, oh my gosh, like that was tight. Like you were just like, yo,
He rapped the shit
plus
out of it. I'm not
he
gonna front.
did. Plus
He
that
rapped the
felt
shit out of
like
it.
that
Yeah.
felt like hip hop.
Yeah.
That the sampling,
Kendrick's a
the
poet.
beats, like everything about that felt like hip hop. And that's where
Yeah.
I think the beef is. It's in hip hop. There's no beef in pop. You know what I'm saying? Like who beefs in pop? You know what I'm saying? So
Eminem.
it felt he can. If
Eminem beefs in pop. Yeah.
Eminem can beef in whatever he wants to.
Right? He's
But
beefs
what
with
I'm saying
Christina
is that I
Justin
think
Timberlake
that's
and
where
some-
the battle went for him, is that he got that part of it, which is like there's a raw hip hop. We're beefing like old school, and that vibe is what really grabbed a lot of people versus what Drake was doing.
Kendrick's a
So
modern day
that's-
Rilke. I will never deny that. I by the way, love his music. A lot of people didn't like his last album. I thought his last album was actually a stroke of genius. I've never heard anything like it in hip hop. Period. So I'm not being subjective here because Drake is light skinned and I am as well. It's not a team. It's not a team light skin.
Team light skin.
It's not team light skin. It's not team biracial. Although biracials did dominate the Olympics this year, proving Dr. Umar is completely full of it. But like the point is that I just think for now Drake said things that are true. Kendrick didn't. You're talking about other people I don't know and not talking about yourself. D-Bird, go ahead.
Well, I said that.
No,
He's all hurt.
You said your piece. You said your piece.
Look
at
at
your piece. Let D-Bird go.
You see that? You see that? He tried to drop the last word and like, no, like you know what I'm saying, like that's not how this is gonna go. So anyway, yes, I wanted to say that because again, I think that's the sentiment around why he's at 78% of the poll versus everybody else. But D, go for it.
Yes, yeah.
I'll just say that this is probably a hot take, but when they first dropped diss tracks against each other, I felt a huge womp womp enter the room. I was not impressed. Everyone was excited that like two of their favorite artists are battling. It's like, oh, we haven't had this in hip hop for like 15 years. That's awesome. That was needed. I just wasn't impressed by the rhyming. I was like, this isn't diss tracks. So I literally pulled out a beat and I was like, gonna write a diss to both of them. I'm like, come on, you can do better.
Oh, I love that.
And then the diss progressed because they, I guess, just did a light tap just to see if the other one would hit. And then, damn, like Meet the Grams came out, and then Drake hit back, and then Kendrick again, you know. So then I was like, never mind, I'm wrong. Like I'm just absolutely wrong. But I will say that like so I actually had, and maybe this is an unpopular opinion, I actually had Drake up before Kendrick's Not Like Us. I had Drake up, and you know, especially once he said like, oh yeah, we like planted little seeds for you to like write a whole verse. He dedicated like a minute and a half to this daughter that was basically just like Drake trolling him. And that I was like, Drake won.
That's exactly my point.
For the reasons Chris said, I was like, you can't, like, if he doesn't have a daughter and he did that on purpose, then everything he said is just null and void. You know what I mean? Like, that's kind of a negative one for Kendrick for not doing his homework and for falling for it. And then Not Like Us came out. I was like, yeah, you got him. Some flashy stuff. But I'm kind of with you, Chris. I'm like, who knows what's true and what's not? I don't know these people. It did feel a little bit more like, oh, here's these rumors. Let's lean into them and like do it in a clever way.
Yeah, the track that actually was before Not Like Us from Kendrick was the one I liked the most, where he was talking to his son.
Yeah, that was.
I thought that was cold blooded.
It was dope, man. It
maybe
was
one of the best diss tracks of all time, because his kid is going to grow up and hear that song. He's not going to be able to avoid it, which is so crazy. And I think with Not Like Us, even though it is a dope track, to your point, D, like it's one of those things where Kendrick was smart enough to play into the zeitgeist. And maybe that's a word we overuse on this podcast, but he did it so brilliantly because Kendrick saw that. He saw that like for whatever reason, and we don't know how it started, probably with Epstein, and the absolute open, transparent injustice and corruption that was around his entire case from the beginning to the end of his life. I think it opened up this younger generation's eyes, but they became obsessed with it. And so Kendrick was smart enough to touch on that. And it just set the internet ablaze, as one would expect.
Yeah. And his stuff was, the beats and all that were so hot that it's crazy to see weathermen, right? Rapping the weather to,
man.
not
It's
like
a cultural phenomenon. It's a cultural phenomenon.
It is. I mean, no one's doing it to any of the Drake stuff, right? Okay, so D, tell me this though. Okay, so when this first happened, I can't say I was underwhelmed. I was annoyed for two reasons. So the first one was, there's enough of this beef in I'll just say the Black community. It was annoying to me that during this time we're fighting each other, right? That, because now you're creating factions, and I didn't like that, right? That's not necessary. That was the first thing. The second thing that I didn't like was the Drake Tupac. And the reason I didn't like the Tupac.
Oh, the AI?
Yeah.
Just to contextualize that for the audience.
Is that
Drake put
AI
that
that
AI
was
Pac
used
at the end of his first diss track. All right.
Right. And here's why. Because Eminem, when he ended Ja Rule's career, he did it by basically using the Hail Mary from Tupac track, but rhyming completely different words, but in the same intonation. It's like he embodied flipping Tupac. And then so did 50. When 50 came on, if you listen to the track side by side, they did everything the same way that Pac did it.
Yeah.
That is creativity, bro. Like that, you embodied the character. You didn't use AI. I felt he cheated. It was like, that's cheap. And he didn't even have permission. So not only do you not have permission, but you did it the cheap way out. You didn't rhyme it like M and 50 did, which again, that ended Ja Rule. Like, and then of course Busta came on. It was like, yo, and he killed it. And then Ja Rule, you didn't see him for 50 years. So, but anyway, that was my take on the whole AI.
I think that's spot on. I thought it was dumb too. I hated it. I immediately knew it wasn't Pac 2, and it was just like, it didn't. There were parts of it, honestly, D-Bird, that didn't sound like Pac 2.
Yeah,
like because I'm a big Pac fan, so I didn't like it at all, actually.
Yeah, I didn't like it either. I thought it was the dumbest shit. Like, he didn't have to do any of that. I just pretty much ignored that. I was like, that's dumb. And it's weird, man, because like in the Discord, you have people in there that just make AI music. Like, they don't even like rap themselves. They don't even sing. There's a couple of people in there that's just like, yeah, I just use AI to make my songs.
All right. What do you think about?
Wait.
Okay.
Culture check.
Oh my God.
So look, yes, I gotta throw it in there, bro.
Mother of all things big and small.
Yeah, that's right.
Culture check.
That's a hell of a transition.
Exactly.
Culture check is dropped on our heads.
It's right.
Like the mightiest storm. All right.
That's right.
Give us a culture check real quick.
I am going to do something a little bit different today. I'm not going to say the culture check. We're going to ask D-Bird.
Okay.
How do you feel about the AI music? Because that's what I was going to ask. I just found out about Suno.com, right? And it's literally write me a song about anything. I mean, I know that you could do that. We've been doing that. You mess around on ChatGPT, right? Write me a rap about, walking into the boardroom one day and they asked me to be a rapper, right? I could do that easy. But like, these things are making full on tracks with voices, with instrumentation. That's what is that? Like, how do you feel about that? How do you feel about the members of your community? I mean, they're part of your community. They're part of your world, who are just like, nah, I don't even sing this stuff. I don't even write this stuff. I don't even play this stuff. I just come up with the idea and then let AI do it.
Look, I'll preface this by saying I have no personal experience with trying to shoot or trying to make music with AI. I have no idea. I couldn't even, repeat the program that you just said. I have no clue. I just no context. The way that I approach it, though, the way that I view music is that this is a window to a human soul. You know what I mean? Like, this is my personal thoughts and feelings put into rhyme form because this is therapy. This is what I care about. These are the thoughts and feelings that I have. So how are you going to make a non-feeling robot come across with soul? I think it's just missing the soul element of music. And you can have some decent sounding things. It's not there yet. I think that the lyrics, the sounds that I've heard from the AI creators aren't quite, it's not indistinguishable, right?
Yeah, yeah.
At this point. Maybe it'll get there one day. But for me, I guess I just listen to music a little differently, and I look for, what does this actually mean? And to me, it feels like it'd be really hard to put that into a prompt of make meaningful music, you robot.
Yep. See, exactly. See, and so here's the thing. I'm gonna ask Chris this because he's in Nashville, right?
Okay. Yep.
So here's the thing. I enjoy my country music, right? I listen to that back porch country, bro. I'll listen to it and sit out and just relax and just think, because I live in the woods and the fields, and it's just like it feels like home to me sometimes, right?
Yeah.
So I'm listening to it, but there's something real that I want to say about it, right? It's kind of it's a little bit of a dig on it, but it is what it is.
Oh no.
If you listen to enough of I know. If you listen to enough of the mid-level, okay, not talking about the stuff that stands out, right? Just mid-level average country.
Yeah.
It's kind of all the same. You know what I'm saying? I mean, you can get some beer, you can get some dog, you can get some truck, you can get some woman, you can get some mama,
some
you can get some God, you know what I'm saying? You can get some guns.
At the same time?
You're gonna get some dog.
Yeah, exactly.
You're gonna get some truck.
Exactly. So you're gonna get all that. You're gonna get that, right?
Yes.
So what I was thinking about is that it's that mid-level type of country that you could basically run through AI. Because you just have to make sure that those 5 things are talked about in some different way, right? Like, as long as they're there, because that's the expectation that they're all going to be there. The expectation isn't that it's going to be unique, right? It just has to be different from the last song, not unique in the message that it's sending, the topics that it's talking about. So as long as you have those things in there, then you're good. So I feel like that is ripe. That is a ripe environment for AI, which I'm not saying is a good thing, right? Because then you're flooding the middle with stuff that's not human. And that's the part that people are concerned about their jobs. Like, you're a writer now. Well, we don't need you for 75% of the stuff, right? Now we just reproduce that with AI, and then maybe we'll actually record it, right? We'll get a human to do it because we understand that we need a human to sell the tickets, right? We need to go to an event. Then that's where we make our money. But the rest of it is just AI. So anyway, I just wanted to throw that in front of you, Chris, since you're in Nashville, and you live in the heart of country. But that's just something that I've seen.
Yeah, I mean, here's the deal. What are we calling that middle? Right now, probably the most popular pure country artist, not somebody like Taylor Swift, who has sort of transitioned into pop music a long time ago, would probably be like a Zach Bryan.
Yep.
Like, kids love him. And what do they love about him? They love the sort of Northwest attitude of it, which is, I'm going to write lyrics that are like, really serious lyrics that are super personal, that an AI probably could not have written. And he doesn't sing it in a way where you feel like an AI could have done it. And so maybe Zach Bryan would be those outliers you're talking about.
Right. Yep.
But the confusion with that is that he is mainstream, and he is pop in the sense that that's what kids that like a lot of different genres, really, really enjoy. But I am with D Bird on the fact that, like, I've messed around with some AI music stuff. He didn't say he had, but I'm saying I have, and it does not actually, like, it's not something you'd play in your car. Like, it's not there yet in terms of being compelling. And I don't know if it's the soul, like D Bird was saying, like, there's no soul in it, and you can tell that. It's just that it's not. We do listen to music for something. And I know there are those people out there that just use music as background, but that's not, you're always going to have those people, I guess, what I'm saying. So if you remember the movie Men in Black, the whole conceit of the film is that walking amongst us every day are aliens, but they're disguised as humans. And I really feel that's what's happening with AI. We are just going to enter a world where we live every day with things that are fake and not real or manufactured. And there's going to be the stuff that's real and not manufactured. And there's going to be advantages to each one, basically. And that's the world we live in. And to a degree, we kind of got to explore that with sampling. You're going to have this whole genre of music within it, so a subgenre of a genre that is completely based on samples and building samples. And you're going to have a whole other part of that genre that says that's not what we do, right? Like you're going to have Questlove playing drums, right? You're going to have, and then this a whole other thing over here that's like, no, we do this with samples, but we do it in a really cool, creative way. And so I'm waiting to see somebody not do the thing where they just say, AI, do this, do everything for me. Make my entire country song. And you know what the conceit is, D-Bird and Nick, about this? And the thing that's the grossest thing about it, the most disgusting thing about it, is that when these artists do this, for the most part, the conceit is, did I fool you? And that's not what art's supposed to be. Right? That's not what art, that's not what we're here for. The second they shift the second they pivot to, let me use this as a tool to make my music better, to get more emotion out of what I was trying to say, to make my music more palatable, or to reach a professional benchmark, then we're cool with it. Just like we are with digital workstations. We're cool with that because it's not doing all the work for us.
Yeah.
But this idea that I'm going to make a song and it's going to like, did you know that really wasn't Drake? Did you know? It's like, dude, I hate that. You're not.
You know what D-Bird says about those people?
You're a booger.
You know what he says about them real quick? I know D-Bird wants to say something. I'm going to say, I know what D-Bird says about those people. He says, they're not like us.
Nailed it.
Yeah. I mean,
bringing it full circle.
Yeah, I mean, do you feel that way, D-Bird? Like that they're just kind of posers?
I feel like everyone listens for different things in music, and people have different goals for making music too, right? And I think, like you said, if somebody's doing it to be like, gotcha, then that sucks, Totally. And similarly, I think there's also there's a genre of the AI creators that's like, insert these prompts, see what spits out. Now I'm just like you, somebody who's spent 20 years doing music, creating music that they care about. Somebody could, wake up tomorrow, be like, I think I want to make a rap song. Here, AI, put in a D-Bird type style.
Yep.
And, Ferndale, Washington, Broken Heart. Boom. Now I'm like you. It's like, no, you didn't. No, you don't have 20 years of doing this to just say I'm also a rapper now. I think
you don't have my life experience. Exactly.
That's
so
right.
Nick, I agree with you. Just to wrap it on that point, let's put a period on it. I agree with you. For the music that never was really trying in the first place, that the music you call the music that's in the middle, AI is going to have a stake in that. But for the music like D-Bird was just talking about, where you have to take 20 years of experience and life and heartbreak and scratch and claw and put it into your music, they can't repeat that because it didn't do that.
Right. It didn't live it.
Yeah, that's all it is. All it is a blow up doll. It's not a woman.
Yep, there you go.
That's the clip.
Yep.
Papa Bear, bring us some things
we
should
need
know.
This. We need this in our life.
Things we should know. Well, there's a lot of things we should know.
So many things I don't know.
So many,
Yeah.
Actually, you get a bonus with this one.
Okay.
Now, D-Bird's made his film. There's been a lot of rap films now. Some of them biopics, like you said. But what we really should know is what is regarded as the first hip-hop film, and what year was it made? Or did it come out?
It's regarded as the first hip-hop film.
Yeah.
This makes me think back to the fact that hip-hop, the first time sort of I think the genre was uttered was, what's his name? The revolution will not be televised. what's his
KRS-One.
No. It was before that, 70s. He died of HIV. God, how can I forget his name? But he was a poet. But he took that poetry and put it to music, and that became hip hop. And then after that, we got African Bambaataa, and then we got the Sugar Hill Gang. But this guy was first, and I wonder if someone filmed him. And I just cannot even believe I'm forgetting his name.
Yeah, I know. But what's crazy about that, Chris, is that like if you were to go back now, I think I feel like hip hop wasn't named for the music.
Gil Scott
Heron.
Yeah.
It was named for the movement that included all the things that KRS-One calls hip hop. So if you didn't have breaking, if you didn't have
I was going to say
MCing,
breaking was going to be what I was going to guess. The movie Breaking.
And if you didn't have DJing, then did you have hip hop? Because you can take it back to the 40s and 50s where there were some guys who were rapping, right? They didn't call it rap then, right? I mean, it was like a 5-part harmony and there were some guys rapping. You're like, whoa, that dude's straight up rapping right now, like black and white. But I feel like it's more that Sugar Hill Gang era is when you had all of the big three, right? MC and DJ and Breaking.
This one's tough. I am going to go with the movie Breaking. I'm going to go 1982, which is when I think that movie came out. 83. Actually, 83. That's my guess.
Was that early on?
Yeah, it was early.
I guess it was. I mean, trying to figure out how old I was. I guess
you were but a wee tot.
I know. So like, I don't even know what this would be like. Dang. I mean, I might have to piggyback on that because I don't remember another hip hop movie. Because I'm thinking back through like all my DVDs in that case I got over there. Breaking is the only one from then. So I don't know.
What do you got? You got something, D-Bird? You got a guess?
Man, you had a much better guess than what came to my mind. But since this was, since I'm not AI, since I'm a human being and I'm fallible, I'm just going to stand on what came through my head. I'm going to say Belly. I'm going to say Belly because here's my rationale. I was like, all right, will whoever's answering this think of Breakin' as the first hip hop? Maybe. But Belly had like all of the hottest artists at the time. It had DMX, T-Boz, like Nas. It had everyone hip hop. Yeah. So if somebody's going to say that was the definitive like hip hop, well, it had all the hip hop people. I'm going to say Belly 1995.
Yeah, that's definitive. I think that's a quality film in hip hop. I think that's one of those that if you're a hip hop head, you got to see it. And we talked about this on another episode, but basically like that to me and Brown Sugar, you got to watch those. If you haven't seen those, man, like, come on, really on hip hop, like got to watch that. But Breakin' probably is the earliest that I remember. And then I don't know, 84.
84. There might have been a documentary done about DJing from the early 80s too, where it was about the origins of hip hop, where basically the MC was born because you needed somebody to keep the people there organized and engaged in what was happening. And so the way we look at hip hop now is we say the MC is up front and the producer's in the back. But when hip hop started, the producer was in the front and the MC was just a compliment to the DJ.
Yeah, basically. It was like, or at least they were side by side. Like if you think about the Fresh Prince and DJ Jazzy Jeff.
Yeah.
It wasn't just the Fresh Prince, right?
DJ Jazzy Jeff and the Fresh Prince.
And the Fresh Prince.
So that was exactly the point I'm making. Yeah. So somehow that got flipped over time because the lyric became more important than the actual production. But anyway, Papa Bear,
real quick, you make a good point because Soul Train. Think about Soul Train. There had to be some hip hop artists on Soul Train doing a thing, and that was an MC DJ game to keep people dancing, keep people engaged. So it could have been earlier than the 80s. I think maybe in the 70s if Soul Train is involved. But yeah, PB.
Don Cornelius did he die?
I believe so. Yeah.
Well, Papa Bear, it's like he never died. Like he lived long.
The spirit of Don Cornelius.
Like he looked 70 in the 70s. and I
Yeah,
think
I
he
know,
lived.
right?
I think he just recently died.
Yeah,
All
we have to
right,
look that one up. All right,
Yeah.
PB.
uh, but I tell you, Chris and Nick are close on the time. Uh, the answer is Charlie Ahearn's 1982 Wild Style.
Oh, I've
And
heard of Wild Style.
Wild Style.
now, yeah, here's the line on it. Charlie Ahearn's '83 film Wild Style is regarded as the first
83 or
hip hop
82?
film.
You said
Well,
82.
I did say '82, and I'll tell you why in a second here.
Yep.
Okay.
Is regarded as the first hip hop film and follows a South Bronx graffiti artist as he navigates the different subculture scenes of the setting. The film was released on December 31st, 1982. So IMDb has it down as a 1982 film, but all the rest of the world, because it obviously didn't come out until after the last day of December in '83, as a 1983 film.
So I had the
I
year correct then.
Yeah, but I forgot that there was a fourth thing. It wasn't the big three. The graffiti was the fourth thing.
Graffiti. Yeah,
That was
graffiti.
And
And I've heard of Wild Style. I have not seen the film. I don't believe.
well, here's the other quickie I'm going to give you that's related to this film.
Always
Where is
down
the
for a
world's
quickie.
large? Yeah, everybody likes a quickie. Hopefully,
Yep.
it's not that way for you
Not
tonight.
not everybody.
D-Bird.
Oh yeah. If we keep him on another hour,
Yeah, stop.
Yeah, what consists of
Let PB go, bro.
quickie? I don't.
Right, let PB go.
Your quickie might be my longie. I don't know.
You're right.
Good point. Good point.
Yeah, and guys, stop. Stop thinking about
all
my
right.
poll. All right, go.
Yeah. Are you Polish? Where
Well, yes. Why are you looking
is
at
the
my
world's where's the world's largest repository of hip hop culture? And
What does
that's
that mean?
Where you'll find repository.
crotch?
Where
No, what's in this place? You just talking about music?
We
Oh,
talking music?
the
We talking
world-
about books?
hip
The
hop
Dead Sea
collection.
Scrolls?
A hip hop collection.
All the hip hop collection from the beginning to today.
It's got to be New York
Um,
City, right?
It's New York City.
Well, it's at Cornell University
Wow.
in their hip hop collection.
Well, Papa Bear, that is a thing we should know. That is I was today years old when I found out the entire Criterion collection is inside of a van. There's a guy that named Larry. I think his name's Larry. He's a producer. He's produced massively successful films, and he curates the library. So when you buy something from Criterion Channel, or they send you some stuff, depending on the associations that you pay for that you're in, they're in a van, and it's like
Down by the river?
basically this carved out Sprinter van that's super nice, and they have all the discs. I'll give editor Kate a picture of this. Like, it looks awesome, but it's a van.
Down by the river.
It's like,
Okay,
I
got it.
guess, but you can't identify this van because if it gets identified, it might get jacked.
Right. Oh, it would definitely get jacked.
And then you lose the Criterion stuff, which is like some of the most important film stuff that we have.
I mean, that's kind of wild because even if they don't identify it, you can still get jacked. You know what I mean?
You
It's
still
right.
can get jacked.
That's a risk.
Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe
So
I shouldn't have said that out loud.
Yeah.
The opening to the film Wild Style is an animation, and that's the connection to Cornell is that the animation cells for that, as well as the 16 millimeter interpositive negatives, are also there for the 35 millimeters. It's not 16. The original 16 is there,
Yeah.
along with the 35 millimeter. But it was established in 2007 and preserves more than 250,000 items across dozens of archives, documenting the origins of hip hop culture and its spread around the globe.
I'll be honest, Papa Bear. That's a thing we should know, and I think
It's
Cornell
worth a visit.
University should charge a fee to get in. People
Shout
would pay.
out Cornell.
People would pay
Yeah.
$25 a ticket to see that. I bet if
Yeah.
they organized it well.
Who knows? They might.
I like
already.
it. I have to take a trip.
or donate it to the African American Museum in DC, which is the best African American museum on the planet. You cannot leave there unbroken. So I highly, highly, highly recommend the African American Museum in DC. If you haven't,
to be broken.
And Nashville has one, and it's great. And there's one in South Carolina. Like at the point of the actual crime, but the of slavery. But if you really want to see a true history, the one in DC is the one you got to visit first. So anyway, Papa Bear, thank you so much, man. That is an awesome thing. Things we should know. Per usual. Usual.
And so yeah, D Bird, he always drops something on us, and it's like you have those moments where you're like, oh, like you know that you didn't know that, and you don't know how you would have known that, but knowing it makes you a better person.
Now I know it, and I feel better. Yeah,
and you can use it. You can weaponize
right.
it.
Yeah. It's like, hey, cornfield school, maybe take a note from Cornell's book.
You're right. There you go.
Exactly, and honestly, it makes me a better hip hop fan because now I know where the collection is, and I know the first film.
Yeah, we gotta watch
quote unquote hip hop. So I gotta watch Wild Style this weekend.
Yeah, that's on the plate for sure. But Chris, we got to let D, move into the rest of his wonderful evening.
He's got an evening
and make
planned
sure that
with a very, very
has some
special
celebrations.
person.
But
some celebrations.
We can't let him go without answering this question, right? So, Chris, we like to deliver this for all our guests. We want to make sure that we understand, what this means to you. So, what does it mean for you to make it?
Yeah, that's a deep one, man. What does it mean to make it? In my mind, making it is living your truth, living your authentic self, following your creative interests and passions and just being authentic. I think, making it doesn't necessarily mean, riches beyond measure. I think that if you can make a living doing something that you love, and you can support yourself, support your family, support the people that you love while doing something you love, I think that's making it in my book.
Hear, hear.
Yeah, man, that's it right there. I love it. And I think Chris knows this, that when we first started, not even before the podcast, just interviewing people on this subject, that was one of the things that I think really made us want to do this. Is because that's what we heard. I think we heard that exact same thing, which is making a living doing what you love. It wasn't all the celebrity talk, right? It wasn't all the fancy stuff talk. And I think that is the mark of a true artist. And we love that for you, that's how you feel. And we love that for so many people who've come on here and echoed that sentiment as well. And it is, again, why we continue to do what we do, because it's that type of passion that really makes us want to be who we are, right? And I was going to say the credo, Chris, because that just made me like I was in it. It makes us want to be better. It makes us want to be creative, and it makes us want to be engaged in this community. So I really appreciate that.
Yeah, 100%. And I could not have said it better. And D-Bird, I know that you've been so generous with your time and your energy, and your feedback has been great. I know you're going to be a hip hop artist for life, because that's just who you are. But I hope that you have such a great experience with this filmmaking opportunity that you continue to dip your toes in the waters of film. And if there's anything we can do for you in that journey, let us know. Because once you step on a film set, once you get collaborative with people in the film space, you get to watch that screen for the first time at that festival or wherever it premieres, there's just nothing like it. And you end up falling in love with it and getting hooked. And that's how seems like everybody gets into the movie business. So best of luck to you going forward. Can you tell everybody where they can find you on social media, find you on the internet, where they can join your Discord and see this film, or even see the trailer or see some of your work?
Absolutely. So I'm D-Bird is dope on all socials, Facebook, Instagram, you name it. You can join our Discord. Go to www.discord.gg/white collar rhymes. Active
Love
community.
that title, by the way.
Yeah, it started out as a dumb pun, and then people really started to be like, yeah, I'm a normal person, And we're like, yeah, okay. So yeah, we're just always in there hanging out. We have a weekly podcast series on Twitch. You can go to twitch.tv/white collar rhymes. Check me out on a weekly music review show where we review music submitted by our community members. Maybe even throw in some music yourself. We can give it a rating. We also do weekly podcasts and contests. So yeah, join the Discord. Got a lot of fun stuff happening. And if you go to wcr.world, not com, wcr.world, you can check out a trailer for the last mixtape, as well as all my crew. Got some albums, got some info for all the people that make up White Collar Rhymes in the core membership. So check that out, and hopefully you see something you like. Yeah,
I think everybody should go do that. That's awesome. And I have to ask this. I know we're wrapping, but just it's short one-line answer will do. Out of all the artists that have come out of your Discord, who's the one we should check for? Who's the one we should try to go find some stuff they've let out? Is there somebody that stands head and shoulders above? It's like, man, they're a dope artist. They work a day job, but they're a dope artist.
Man, honestly, it would be doing a disservice to everyone if I named one.
Okay.
WCR.world, all of the artists on there deserve their own shine, and they're so unique in everything that they do. Passive the Rapper, Cody Nash, Paradise, Nikki Joe, every single one of the artists on there, Ty Lamb, Almighty VA, famous battle rapper Nestle, he's part of the crew. So, I mean, Nestle, you can check him out on YouTube and see some of his past battles. I don't know if you guys are deep into the battle rap culture, but yeah, man, we've got it all. So I check it out. I guarantee you there's going to be somebody you're going to be blown away by.
I love it, man. And we are now. So do what D-Bird says. Go check him out. Definitely watch the trailer when the film's ready to drop. Definitely support him and watch the film. The last mixtape is guaranteed to satisfy and inspire. And speaking of satisfying and inspire, we want to thank you for watching and listening to the Make It podcast. If you're watching and listening already, you probably know where you can find us: Spotify, Apple, YouTube. If you're watching it, of course, keep supporting us. Every review, every subscription, every like really, 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 really matters. It helps people find the show, discover the show, spread the show around. So support us as well. And that would be incredible. If you want to learn more about us, we're at bonsai.film. So that's BONSAI.film, or you can find us at themakeitpodcast.com. If you want to reach out to Nick, you can email him at nick@bonsai.film. If you want to reach out to me, you can find me on X, formerly Twitter, at Flame in Your Heart, and your is spelled UR, or you can just search for my name, Chris Barkley, and I will come right up. On social media, we are _Make It Podcast, just about on everything: X, Instagram, TikTok, you name it. So that's how you can find us. With that being said, I think I can turn it over to you, Nick. I mean, I think people know we have a newsletter, Indie Insights. You can subscribe for free. That's on the website. But all that being said, I think I can turn it over to you to leave us with the aforementioned credo.
The aforementioned. And again, D-Bird, like, you got to tell us, man, like, when this film drops and the distribution, all that kind of stuff happens, like, keep us posted. Let us know how we can support you, how we can spread the word about the great artists that are in your community and all the great things that you're doing. So, this, as we always say, man, this is the beginning of a relationship, right? This isn't the beginning and end. So we're here for everybody in the community always. So hit us up and let us know.
So much.
Yeah, my pleasure, brother. And with that, I will say to our filmmaking friends, family, fans out there, followers, be better, be creative, be engaged.
And thank you for listening. Nick, D-Bird, Papa Bear, talk to you all soon.
Yeah, man. We'll do it again.
All right, man.
Thanks, D-Bird.
Peace.
Appreciate you guys.
Have a good night.
Peace.
Too.